Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Clark. I am the founder and CEO of Clark College Consulting, the author of 2 wonderful college planning books. And today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how to pay for college and need-based aid. I got a lot of questions about this over the last few weeks, and so I wanted to answer and just kind of give you a quick overview of need-based aid. Now, need-based aid is just one type of aid that will help you pay for college. You have need-based aid, you have outside scholarships, merit-based aid, and the college's own money. Those are the different buckets, if you will, of how you can pay for college. But today I just want to briefly talk a little bit about need-based aid, since I got so many questions about it, and so many parents are in the process of completing the financial aid forms. So when you think of paying for college, think of it like buying an airline ticket, meaning that the person beside you that bought a ticket, they probably didn't pay the same price. And that's a pretty good equivalent to college, because everyone pays a little bit different when they go off to college. But one of those buckets, like I said, is need-based aid. So what is need-based aid? Well, it's a formula that was developed by the Department of Education for many, many years. It's been around from the 50s and 60s, I believe, all the way to today, and the formula hasn't changed that much over the years. The basic formula is the cost of attendance minus your expected family contribution number, and the difference between those two numbers is your need-based aid. So let me repeat that. It's the cost of attendance, meaning how much it costs for your son or daughter to go to that college for 1 year, and that's all the cost. So that's tuition and fees and room and board and travel expenses and miscellaneous expenses and everything put together. How much it costs to go there for 1 year. And then the colleges and the federal government will use the FAFSA form and another form called the CSS profile form. They'll collect some information from you. They'll plug it into these formulas, in these forms, from these forms, excuse me, and it will calculate your expected family contribution number. What is your expected family contribution number? Well, essentially, your EFC, or expected family contribution number, EFC, is how much they think you can afford to pay on a yearly basis. So let's give you a quick example. Let's say that my son is applying to a $60,000 private school, and my EFC is $40,000. So the cost of attendance is $60,000. The EFC, or my EFC, is $40,000 a year. So I would potentially qualify for $20,000 of need-based aid. Now that is the maximum amount of need-based aid that I would receive. I could get merit-based aid and other types of aid, the college's own money, but for need-based aid, that is the maximum I would receive. Now let's give you another example. Let's say that my son applies to a $20,000 state school, and my EFC is $40,000. Well, from the math, you can tell that my EFC is more than the cost of attendance, so I would qualify for 0 need-based aid. So what are some of the things that are considered when they're calculating your EFC? Well, they're going to look for or try to determine or collect parents' income, students' income, parents' assets and investments, and students' assets, savings, and investments. And I forgot to mention savings as well for the parents. They'll also take in consideration things like the age of the older parent. So the older you are, they take that in consideration because you're getting closer to retirement. The size of your family. If you have a large family, they take that in consideration. If you have a younger sibling going to a private high school, if you have other children in college, they take that in consideration as well. They do not take in consideration parents in college. They took that out a few years ago. But if you have other children going to college, they do take that in consideration. So that is in the formula, basically, is what I'm telling you. So they plug those information into the FAFSA form or the CSS profile form, and it collects or it calculates your expected family contribution. Now, a quick definition of the FAFSA form and profile form. The FAFSA form is used by every college in America that gives out federal money, federal need-based aid. So if a college wants to give out federal money, they have to use the FAFSA form. Now, some colleges say, Ryan, that's just not enough, so we need some more detailed information. So they use their own formula or their own paperwork, or they use the CSS profile form. And typically, The private colleges, or a lot of private colleges, use the profile form. Most of the state schools use just the FAFSA form. Some colleges use both. But what are the deadlines on those forms? Well, I would say you want to start as early as possible. So if you're completing the FAFSA form and the profile form, try to start now, October, November timeframe. Check with each college because the deadlines can be different, especially if you're applying for early action or early decision. Sometimes they'll push the deadlines really, really far in advance because of that. So just make sure you check each college and see which colleges require which forms and the deadlines for those forms. Well, I hope you found this information helpful. Do me a favor, guys. Please share this information to other families, other students who might have some questions on financial aid and need-based aid in general. There's a lot of conflicting information that's out there, and sometimes it can be very complicated. So getting just a little nugget of information or just to help them through this process can really reduce the stress and just make this process a lot easier for them. So again, do me a favor, please share this information. Keep those questions coming. Thank you so much. Have a great day. We will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.